And back at it again with another one for all y'all Bi-Conics wrestling fanatics out there. I am your host, Mikey, and I am one half of the Rampage Cleanup crew here to give you your review for AEW Rampage August 11th, 2023. As you can see, unfortunately, I am missing my other co-host, Adolfo, who is the other half of the Rampage Cleanup crew. He is out on assignment for the next couple of weeks, so I will be reviewing Rampage solo for now. But I'm excited for Adolfo to be on assignment elsewhere, and I look forward to when he comes back to do this with me. This Rampage was interesting to say the least. I actually enjoyed most of it. I do have some questions, but we're going to just jump right in and keep this sweet and short. We opened Rampage this week with Darby Allin taking on Brian Cage. I thought this was a really fun match. Brian Cage obviously getting some offense in and being the powerhouse and agile big guy that he is. He is able to kind of throw around Darby for a good chunk of this match, but Darby is no slouch. He gets some offense in. What I really love is that both men go back and forth. Usually when there are big guys in the wrestling ring, wrestling very smaller guys, there tends to be a lot of back and forth. Mostly the big guy throwing around the smaller guy, but Darby got some offense in. What was surprising to me is that he had a surprise roll up for the win, which makes sense though, because the only way he was going to beat Brian Cage is if he was able to do it quick, which he did. Post-match, we see Luchasaurus come down to the ring, and he lays out Darby by attacking him. So, one of my questions did get answered because Darby is involved right now with AR Fox and Swerve heading into All In. And my biggest concern was if we were going to get anything between Darby and Luchasaurus, since technically they're going to be facing each other at All Out for the TNT Championship. So, it's nice to see that we are actually getting continuing storylines with this. And so we'll have to see what happens later to see how the storyline progresses. Renee is backstage and she interviews Dr. Britt Baker, DMD, about her upcoming match against the Bunny next week on Dynamite for the fourth and final spot of the Fatal 4-Way for the AEW Women's Championship at All In Wembley Stadium. Britt talks highly of the Bunny and that she is a good wrestler and she's excited for her to come back. Unfortunately for her, it will be all in vain since she has to go up against Britt, and Britt will do anything and everything to make sure that she gets to be a part of this iconic, historic moment for AEW at All In. So, we'll see what happens. I predicted on the Dynamite review that we're probably Britt's going to win, but I would love to see Bunny take it and go to Wembley, but we'll see what happens. Next, we get a little quick video package of Eddie Kingston. He talks about his trip in Japan and, his reflecting on his experience in the G1 Climax. And even though he didn't get to advance to the finals of the tournament, that he still can hold his head up high because he is the New Japan Strong's never weight open champion. And Eddie Kingston looks so much happier, and I'm excited, and his matches in the G1 were awesome. I am hoping and I am happy to see him kind of come back to AEW soon, with the G1 almost being over at the time of this recording, but Eddie Kingston is awesome. I love him, and I'm glad that he's enjoying himself in Japan. The next match we see is Johnny TV taking on champion Orange Cassidy for the AEW International Championship. Okay, I have made it abundantly clear across almost every single Rampage review, as well as the other AEW reviews I've been lucky enough to be a part of. I don't like QTV as a faction. I think they're annoying, and it's just cringe, and I hate them. But it was glad to see that Johnny TV was able to get this match against Orange. Both of them were awesome. This match was great. Of course, only 11, 12 minute match, which is fine because Rampage isn't only an hour, but I wish we got more time. Ultimately, though, Orange Cassidy picks up the win here to retain the title. And at this point, Wheeler Yuta comes down and grabs the mic and basically tells Orange that he's going to hurt him emotionally and physically, and he's going to take something that he cares the most about, which sets up this AEW International Championship match for Dynamite next week between Orange Cassidy and Wheeler Yuta. Man, that match is going to slap. I think Orange is going to retain it, but I wouldn't be surprised if Wheeler takes it. It is to also mention, by the way, before we continue on this review, that it broke on the social medias that Tony Khan decided to move up Fight for the Fallen. So next week, well, the next 2 weeks is going to be Fight for the Fallen. So that's going to be very, very interesting, and I'm excited to see all that. Next, we get a squash match where Aussie Open takes on the Outrunners. This was a quick 2-minute match. Aussie Open had the upper hand the whole entire time. A quick pin for the 1, 2, 3. The most important thing, though, to take away after the match is that both Kyle Fletcher and Mark Davis get on the mic and they basically they respond to Adam Cole and MJF's challenge for the Ring of Honor Tag Team Championships on 0 Hour for All In. Aussie Open accepts, and we get the official placard later in the night that it will be Aussie Open defending their Ring of Honor Tag Team Championships against Better Than You, baby, at the All In 0 Hour pre-show for All In. So this is going to be good. We get this next weird segment where Jeff Jarrett is talking about how he's going to have a match against Jeff Hardy and just lists through everything that the two have in common. Ultimately, this is just a little segment to hype up that Jeff Jarrett and Jeff Hardy are going to have a Texas Chainsaw Massacre death match next week on Dynamite. So literally, this is just a Texas death match, which has become one of my favorite stipulations. But at the same time, though, sure, why not? Jeff Jarrett is just out here collecting a check, and I can't hate the man for getting his monies. But I'm worried. I don't want Jeff to get too crazy in this match. I want him to be okay and healthy. I'm interested because, death matches are a lot of fun. It's going to be crazy and it's going to be bananas. But we shall see what happens with it. And I'm hoping everyone comes out of it safe, but we also get some fun spots in it. We then get our bumpers that lead into Collision and what else has been announced so far. And then we get our main event for Rampage this week, which sees Saraya taking on Sky Blue for a spot in the AEW Women's Championship Fatal 4-Way Eliminator Tournament. And, I said this in the Dynamite review. Let's go to the match first. So the match was all right. I appreciated Saraya and Sky Blue. This is a combination that I really haven't seen too much of. And of course, I'm becoming a big fan of Sky Blue. I think with more work, she'll become a star. I know a lot of people hate Saraya or like to talk bad about her, but I think I'm so happy to see her back in the ring after being told for so long that she couldn't wrestle, but she still got it. Of course, when I saw that Toni Storm and Ruby Soho were out there, I was like, yeah, some shenanigans are going to happen, and that's exactly what happened. As Sky Blue is getting ready to go after Saraya, Toni Storm distracts the referee, which allows Ruby to take the spray paint and spray Sky Blue in the face, which allows Saraya to pick up the win for the 1, 2, 3, and Saraya is going to the All-In Fatal 4-Way. And so far, we have Hikaru, we have Saraya and Toni. And so next week on Dynamite, we'll see if the fourth and final spot is going to go to the Bunny or Dr. Britt Baker, DMD. Of course, the Outcast then beat down Sky Blue as Rampage goes off the air. And that's going to be it for this week's AEW Rampage review. As I said, Rampage is one of those weird shows that, we have an hour, so the reviews aren't really going to be a lot of in-depth, and the promo work is not necessarily always going to have an in-depth analysis. I still enjoy watching Rampage because it's become like an auxiliary to Dynamite and Collision, because I will say that this week definitely still had some spots that are building towards All In and All Out. And I've always said that Rampage should be this show where they have a shorter time frame, but they still want to build the stories that are happening on Dynamite and Collision, or if they want to use the Rampage to continually build towards the bigger pay-per-views, which is fine. But it is what it is. Overall, I give this Rampage out of 10. I'm going to give it a solid 7. Rampage is really hard to grade, only given the sense, once again, we only have an hour, and its purpose is not to have, like, the craziest things happen on Rampage. But I still do enjoy it. I'm going to give it a 7 out of 10. I did appreciate that I got my question answered, that we are still building towards Darby versus Luchasaurus for the TNT Championship at All Out. The International Championship match between Johnny TV and Orange Cassidy was good. I'm excited to see Aussie Open take on Better Than You, baby, at the 0 hour for All Out. But we shall see what happens. I guess the only big critique I have for this match is, obviously I want the women's matches to have longer time, and this match was predictable. And I thought Sky versus Saraya was good. It wasn't great, but it is what it is. But overall, I thought Rampage was a solid 7 out of 10. And that's going to be it for my review of AEW Rampage this week. Thank you so much for tuning into another one. This has been your host, Mikey. And if you enjoy these long-form reviews, make sure to check out all the other reviews we have on the YouTube channel, from the weekly television shows to even the pay-per-views. It's a lot of fun. Check out our social medias at BC WrestlePod on Instagram, X, Threads, and TikTok to stay up to date when these new videos go live, as well as some behind-the-scenes shenanigans. And if you're looking for something different, you can always check us out at the Bi-Conics Wrestling Podcast, which can be found on any podcasting platform, where we talk about anything and everything wrestling. We talk about our favorite wrestlers, some of the critiques we have, like shenanigans goes on in the podcast. It's a great time, so I highly suggest you check it out. But once again, that is going to be it for me for this week's AEW Rampage review. This has been your host, Mikey, and from all of us here at the Bi-Conics, remember, take care of yourself, love one another, and until next time, adios, sayonara, and thanks for watching. Ta-ta for now.